All right, so we're going to start off here and talk about modifying backgrounds and specifically putting an image into a background. And we've already sort of done this. We've done this before, but one of the things that came up, if you remember, is that we had to have the right sized image when we're putting it in as a background because we're linking to an image link. So whereas with where we're putting an image into a page, we can specify how big we want it to be or what have you. We didn't have a way to resize a background image. So now CSS3 lets us do that. So let's start off with this code. And you can see here I have a div block with a border. And I specified some padding in here, 50 pixels of padding, so we can play around with where in an element we can put an image. And we'll see that here in a second. But let's first specify an image. So I'm going to put in here background. And remember, this is the text background URL. Let me make sure I get my spaces here. And then I'm going to use the O'Leary crest. Okay. And let's just see step by step how this will work. All right. So what this does is it fills the background image. We've already sort of done this in the past. We fill the background because I have it as the default is to repeat. So I have to do background repeat. No repeat, and click Save Web Page. So there it is. We've done this before, but this is the exact size. I've specified the size of the div block. Here's my image. It's as big as it's going to be based on what the size of the image is. So what we want to do first is to resize the image. So let's look at how we can do that. We can do background size and specify an image height. So let's do 150 pixels. That's the right size, but it doesn't look small enough for it to be obvious. So let's do 100 pixels. Okay, so you can see it's smaller here. And I can specify the height and the width the same way that I can do with any type of image. So I can now take an image, regardless of how big it is in its regular format, I can make it the size that I want. So that's the first step of your assignment, is to resize a background image. The second thing that I want you to do is I want us to see how you can specify where in a box like that I want it to go. And you can see on your assignment that you have like an image here. Okay, so this is an image that's from a WC3 Schools, which is like a teaching body for HTML and CSS. And you can see that, remember, for any element, this is our box model. Remember, every element has a border space, a padding space, a content space. And so what we can do is decide where we want that image to go. So in this situation, right now it defaults and it's the entirety of the space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify that we want the origin for this image, background origin, to be in the padding box. So let's see what happens when we do that. Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing, but it's taking up right now this space. It's starting in the padding. If I want that to be in the content box, watch what happens. So now it doesn't, the image doesn't show up in the padding. It starts in the content box. Okay, so that's second part of your assignment, as I want you to take the resized image and put it into the content box as opposed to the padding box. And you use your background origin tab or tag or declaration in order to do that. The third part of the assignment is I just want you to show, I want you to take an image and stretch it out to fill out the entire space, okay? And the way you do that is just you use your percentages as your background size instead of your pixels. So if I do 100 pixels, 100%, and I take this out of here, and I click Save Work Show Web Page, what it's going to do is it's going to stretch the image to fill the entire box from top to bottom. Okay, the entire div block from top to bottom. Okay? And if I do, let's see what that looks like if I do it for the content box. Background, origin, content box. So you can see it's just filling that from top to bottom. If I want, I can also do that 100% to the width. And you can see now it does it, it stretches it top to bottom and side to side. So the image is going to fill the entire box and be included within the entire box. Okay, so that's the second thing that I want you to do, or third thing I want you to do. First step is to resize the background image using just pixels. Second is to see how you can move it into the content box as opposed to filling up the entire div. And let's just do one more thing here just to show how that works. So let's change that to 50 pixels. Okay. And let's have this go in the padding box just to show you how moving these things around will actually look. So padding box. So right here, this fits within the padding box. Whereas if I come here and switch that into the content box, goes there. And if I wanted to, I could have it showing up. You know, it can contrast these two things. So I'll cut that out. So here's the assignment. Step 1, resize the background image. Step 2, position it within the content box. And then step 3, I want you to stretch it using your changing your background size declaration from pixels to percentages and have the image fill the content box. Okay?